What about when you're leading others, though? Like when you're teaching or sharing these principles, are there times when that same tension shows up there? The gap between the head level and where people are in their own process?
Yes, that creative tension is always there. I've been a teacher for quite a long time. And to give you an example, I have a student right now that I do creative development and artistic development with. And sometimes he tells me, he says, it's kind of funny because people omit things a lot of times. I often say that people don't lie, they always omit. But he admits to me that he had a certain opinion of me when he first met me. And he'll say, man, you're really cool. You got a lot of steeds. And I think what he's saying is like, the reality of who I am to him is a lot different than what was in his mind. And I say that to say this. When I'm dealing with people or him, creativity and opening up the brain is difficult. I've learned different skills though, and what I usually do is help people with comparison and contrast and juxtaposition. I help people compare and contrast and juxtapose different elements. So with him, when I'm teaching him something in say FL Studio or programming, I'll relate the concept of what we're doing to life. I may relate it to business. And I do that a lot because if you keep everything you teach someone in its own particular context and you don't broaden it to anything else, I think sometimes their mind will see it as more confrontational. But once you kind of get their subconscious mind to understand that you're showing them something heuristically, um, not heuristically, but you're showing them something that is multifaceted and multidimensional, then they receive it more use. They have more use case value for what you teach the students. So that's what I try to do. And I also teach my students certain methods while I teach them or words. One of my favorite words is heuristic, which Earl Nightingale taught me, which is a form of teaching where a student is encouraged to discover the truth for his or herself. So I think when you start teaching people and you get them into that mode of understanding, I really can't teach you. What I can do is help you get into the method of thought where you discover the truth for yourself. It kind of starts creating this space of safety. And when it comes to a lot of primordial needs, when you're dealing with adults, you got to remember, like unto a child, a lot of people just have a human need to feel safe. And a lot of times, if you can get them feeling safe, that friction will dissipate and the learning will begin to be active.